Hello Zaniacs, welcome back to Zaniac TV. I'm your host Zane, and today we're doing Shadowlands weekly route of Fortified, Bursting, Volcanic, and Prideful. Anyone has any questions, I do stream live on Twitch 4 days a week. I also offer Mythic Plus analytics and coaching through Patreon. Alright, so if you're tanking and you're getting hit a lot harder than you were last week, or you're DPSing down and things aren't dying as fast, or if you're noticing that you have to heal way more, well, it's not you. You actually are doing more intense stuff this week with the trash, because this week is Fortified, and that means...
Excuse me, hello? Aren't you gonna welcome me back?
Oh, were you gone?
Hey, don't be a jerk. I happen to know I was missed while I was gone.
What are you talking about? No one missed you.
Oh, really? Then explain this comment.
Where'd you get that?
Your stream.
Alright, fine. Maybe you were missed a little bit.
That's what I thought. So, since it's Fortified this week, that means no mechanics, right?
Not this again. Yes, you still have to do mechanics.
Darn it. I should have picked a different week to come back.
You have to do mechanics every... Never mind. But yes, it's Fortified. That means the trash is a lot harder than the bosses. But, as I was trying to say, that doesn't mean you can stop doing mechanics. Just realize that the trash is going to be hitting a lot harder than it was last week. If you're running a dungeon level 4 or higher, you're going to have to deal with bursting. Well, what is bursting? Every time an enemy dies, your whole party gets a stacking debuff that does ticking damage over 4 seconds. And every time someone dies, the stacks increase. If you're just about to have the stacks fall off and you kill something, the stacks refresh and you have another 4 seconds of ticking damage. This is actually pretty lethal. So make sure you stagger your kills, or since they are dispellable, bring a Priest for Mass Dispel, a Mistweaver Monk for Revival, or just individually dispel somebody who has it. It is a magic effect, so healers will be able to dispel it. For those of you running level 7s or higher, you're going to have to deal with Volcanic. I say deal with, but are you really dealing with Volcanic? Volcanic, in my opinion, is the easiest level 7 affix that this game has to offer. So, what is Volcanic? Volcanic targets players that are far away, not range, but players that are far away, and puts red volcanoes underneath your feet that you have to sidestep out of. If you don't sidestep out of them, you're going to take damage and get launched in the air and land. Now, they are completely avoidable, but if you're fighting trash packs or bosses that have a lot of stuff on the ground, they can be missed, but it's still a really simple affix. All you have to do is just sidestep out of them. So how does all this affect Prideful? Well, if you have trash enemies up while you're about to get Prideful, they will still put that bursting debuff on you while you're fighting Prideful, so you're going to get some extra damage from that. So you're just going to have to be very cautious when you're killing enemies, because you don't want to stack up that bursting while Prideful is out. Same thing with Volcanic. If you have extra trash mobs out, Volcanic could come, and just be super careful with that because it can get lethal and dangerous. So in the other side during bursting, you're going to see that a lot of people are going to kind of push you to pull these two packs together. And since it's Fortified and it's bursting, I mean, you're in a pug group, so you're probably going to oblige. Just be very careful of bursting here, because as you saw in the earlier clips, that was this pack where we almost died. So make sure everything's staggered. Now, I don't really pop a defensive here, because really this pack as a tank is harder, at least for me. So I try to pop Nizao over here, but it's still also a very deadly pack. So then you just continue this way and then do this separately. This is where you're going to get Prideful. You get Prideful over here, and then you backtrack this way into here, and these are pretty much going to be like almost close to the last of the problems with bursting. But really, bursting is going to be a lot more trouble over here with these massive amounts of packs. So try to stagger them a little bit more, and just be very careful when you pull with bursting in here. I have them separated here, but that's just because it's just generic percentage. I generally will be pulling them 1 packs at a time, or at least when they're about halfway done, I'll pull the next pack. Alright, so after the other side is Halls of Atonement. I have 2 routes for this. One with no Venthyr and one with Venthyr. They're very minorly different. So let's go over if we have it with, let's go over Venthyr first. So I want to use Bloodlust on the first pack here. And then I cut across this way, and then Venthyr, of course, is going to want to grab this. So that doesn't count as percent. That's why it's different. If you have a Venthyr, the Loyal Stoneborn, you don't get percentage from it. When you grab these do cause bursting, so try to stagger these out. Then you're going to get a Prideful here. Backtrack this way, grab this. Then these are going to grab a Prideful. Now, on Fortified weeks, this is where it's different. I will actually grab this pack next with the Prideful because trash is a lot harder. Which causes me to go back this way, try to avoid pulling these down here. You'll get another Prideful here. Now, while the anima with the shard goes to the boss, you do have to wait. So instead of just standing around waiting for it to finish, go ahead and pull these packs here, and then you'll be able to do the boss. Don't lust on this boss. You want to lust on the next boss after that. This is going to be a bit of a problem with bursting, so just keep an eye out for that. Cut across this way. Use lust on this boss. This is a pain pack. It's very bad if you don't have a if you don't have a defensive for it. These hit very hard, and they usually cause me problems, so I try to save Nizal for this instead of on the boss. On Fortified weeks, I pull these guys back into this room. Then, of course, we have the boss. And then this is going to take just a little bit longer, but at least there's no bursting here. These don't burst, and then you'll be able to do the last boss, no problem. Now, if you don't have a Venthyr, the only difference is that since you have to pull a couple of these Stoneborns, these get pulled anyway when you get with Pugs. And this one will get pulled, and this one will get pulled. So the only difference is I make up for it by not pulling this pack. If you do not have a Venthyr, do not pull this pack. Alright, after Halls of Atonement, let's go over Mist. Alright, Mist is a little tough to plan out because you have the Mist. And the maze is a little bit different every time. I hope for 57% at the end of the maze, and I'll explain to you why in a minute. But first, let's go over here. This is assuming you have a Night Fae. These packs give a curse that gives extra damage. It can go up to 50%. Extra damage taken. Plus, the bursting is dangerous, so you might want to pull these separately. Then you go down and pull this pack. Bursting is going to be tough with these, even though there's only 4. Of course, you skip here if you have Stealth Pot, Shroud, Mind Soothe, Imprison, or, since I'm a monk, I use Ring of Peace and Paralysis. We don't really need Stealth Pots. Walk past that. These guys hit hard enough as it is for Fortified, so when you add Bursting, just make sure they get staggered out. Then, of course, the Mist, just careful of bursting in here with the larger packs. 5, 4s, 1s, you'll be fine. So if you get 57%, which I shoot for, so everyone's like, do you want to pull this extra pack here? No, I want 57%. Yeah, we won't have Prideful for the boss, but it's a time saver later. If you're at 57%, which is what this is, based on 57%, you're going to get a Prideful here. Then you cut across this way. This is going to be a large swarming pack. This is very dangerous for bursting because these do all cause bursting. This also will pat in sometimes. But then you keep going here. This is where you use Stealth Pots or Shroud. If the maze ends at 57%, you want to Shroud past this boss. You'll get to here. You'll get 80% for the boss. Right? So then you use the 80% Prideful on the boss. Get rid of that boss real quick. Then you come back here, backtrack. You get to 100%. And you don't have to fight the last Prideful. It saves you about a minute of combat. Now, if you're over 57%, just go through it as normal. You're going to have to backtrack this way, get some extra, and then you'll do 100% on the boss. Alright, in Plaguefall routing is going to be a little wonky with bursting, and I'll just explain it real quick. So here you just do as always. You grab this guy first. Then I separate these packs with bursting. I'm still probably going to pull this because 4 should be manageable. Then this. And then this is where I would get my first Prideful off of these guys. On weeks that are not bursting or bolstering, which this is bursting week, I would just go in and pull almost all of these in one shot. But because it's bursting, we're going to have to separate it. You just pull some, let it go, pull some, let it go, which is where this red arrow comes in. Kite them back. While you're kiting them back, make sure you just very stealthily, very quietly pull one padding plague borer away from the hatchling nest, away from the hornet. You only want one. So it pats out far enough away for you to grab it. And usually what you want to do it mist this mess, so that way none of the DPS notice what you're doing. Alright, then you finish this guy, ignore this guy, go down this way, separate all of these pulls. You'll be at 38% for you to go back this way and get this last one, and you'll be at 40% for your Prideful on the Grog words. After the boss, just mount up this way. You'll be okay with bursting here. These are all individual pulls. Bursting here, it will be okay. All individual pulls. Come down here, just more individual pulls, just like 2 or 3. Bursting will be fine overall. Then you come down this way, skip this. There's a little sliver path you can cross. I pull these together. Now, Mythic Dungeon Tools says that this tentacle counts as percent, but it really doesn't. So, it just doesn't count as percent. Pull these 3 together. Here, bursting is going to be a little tough because there's 4 of them, plus all the extra trash, and since it's fortified, this is actually going to hurt a lot harder. Then you do the boss, backtrack, get this pack, then you go back down, get these 3, bring them this way. Now, these are going to be rough because they do cause bursting. There is Volcanic everywhere, because the more trash you have, the more chance of Volcanic. So you saw earlier in the video, we were doing this trash, and there were Volcanic everywhere. And then, of course, you have the last boss. Don't get hit by tentacles, and you'll be good. Alright, in Sanguine Depths, the tight hallways are going to be a little tougher for Volcanic. Some light sidestepping. Why is it starting down here? Some light sidestepping. If you have a Venthyr, you're still going to want to somewhat pull these together so you can get the buff, but it's still going to be tougher on bursting. I pull one tick together with the brute, and then I just walk past. No stealthing, no stealth bots, just walk past, and you'll be here. I have this looped together, but you don't want to do that on Fortified, and you definitely don't want to do that on bursting. This pack here has 4, 5, 6, 8 mobs. Don't want to kill them all at the same time. Now you're gonna want to stealth pots after the first boss, pot past the sentinel, and you start from here. Because it's fortified, it's gonna take longer to kill these. I usually pop my my Nizao here to try to get rid of them quicker. Other tanks, you have your wings, you have Fell Devastation, Avatar, Berserk. So just pop your damaging defensives here. Take these packs each one at a time. They're fortified. You don't want to get the chains. You don't want to get the silence. Then this pack is going to be a little tough here. And if this stealth goes correctly, this pack is going to give you a Prideful, which I technically pull it back into this room. Then just careful of the thin hallway with the Volcanic, just very basic side steps. You'll have Prideful for the boss, as long as you pull these in here. Prideful for the boss. You do need 70% before you go down. So take these 3 packs, ignore the Sentinel, take these 3 packs, and you'll be able to go down. And then, of course, everything else, business as usual. certain packs in the gauntlet do not cause bursting, but a lot of it does. So just stagger everything down carefully. And you'll get a Prideful right here for these 3, which you could pull separately. If you taunt this one and then run back, only 2 of them come, and then he stays. The Overseer stays, so you don't have to deal with that area of effect debuff. Then do the gauntlet as usual. Just make sure your DPS stagger those kills so you don't get too much bursting. Then you'll have Prideful for the boss, and then you get your key times. Alright, Spires of Ascension. You could still technically pull all 6 of these, just it's harder. When I did this when it was explosives, it was very damaging because people were not killing explosives. I might still pull these separately, pull these 3 and then these 4, but really the danger comes from the packs over here with the magic damage. And I say here it's that they generally can be pulled together. You can't do that this week. There's going to be a Prideful on this route. So let me take a step back. After the first boss, I do go to the left for 2 pulls. They'll be okay for bursting and volcanic. It's okay. And then you cross back this way, and I pull these separate on bursting. The stealth claws. Pull these 3 first, and then these 4 together. I'll get a Prideful. Pull these 3, each of these 3 packs separately. Then you pull this one, which will give you a Prideful for these. This week I would pull these separately. And here, if you have a Kyrian, this is where I use the spear on bursting weeks. Normally I would try to use it here or here, depending on the week in the group, but you gotta pull these separately for bursting. It's gonna be just too much damage. There's 9 mobs here, and you don't want to get that high of bursting. This boss is really easy on Fortified. It's amazing how hard it is on Tyrannical, but then how easy it is on Fortified. And then I just walk past here, kill these 3, stealth past here, and bursting will be no problem for the rest of the run. Alright, Necrotic Wake has so much padding trash, so much thicker trash everywhere, and it's a very trash heavy dungeon, and Fortified just doesn't make it that much easier. You want to make sure you avoid this pat here coming this way, so that way you can get Prideful for the boss. Bursting pack here, and tight hallways here for Volcanic, because there's not a lot of sidestepping you can do here. So with Volcanic, you just want to go forward and back instead of left and right. Come around here this way, you're going to get Prideful for this named pack here, and you're going to get your Prideful over here. Careful of pulling this pat, because if you pull this pat, then you'll be over on %, which will cause problems when you're up in the Necropolis. Come around this way, focus these guys down here, the main guy. Remember, this is Fortified, so it's going to be a lot tougher to kill him than it was last week. Alright, in the Necropolis here, these guys pat into you when you're trying to tank these guys. Then I go this way. Then I grab the pat. If you grab him when he's here, here, or here, you're not going to pull anything else. You'll get your Prideful. Then you do Prideful against these mobs, and you do the whole gauntlet. As long as you pull just the right amount of mobs, you're not going to get a Prideful in the middle of the gauntlet. You only have a 2.12% margin of error. Because then right here, you'll get your 100%. Then you'll do the boss, and these bosses are a lot easier on Fortified, so no problem there. Now, Theater of Pain, I feel, is going to be a little bit tougher with bursting. Let's start from the top. On bursting week, so I need a stealth pot where you stealth past this first pack. You do not kill this first pack right now, and you kill the mounted guy. He's going to take a lot longer with bursting, not bursting, with Fortified, but he only has 1 pack, so there's no real bursting here. You do the boss, Bloodlust here, then I go down, I go up first, get all of these ghosts, all but 4. Now, I do all but 4 on non-bursting weeks and non-fortified weeks. But because of bursting, you really don't want to pull 8 ghosts. So I would pull half pull them back into this hallway, and then go back, pull another half, so that way you don't have that massive amount of bursting on a Fortified week. Skip this one right here, right at the entrance. Just do a hard left and then run back, and you can just walk past these 3. But we're not doing the ghosts just yet. So after you pull the ghosts, you go down to Gore Chop. Route as usual, careful here, bursting here, bursting here. You'll get Prideful right here. You'll get Prideful for this guy. Since it's Fortified, he's very tanky. Then when we go down, this pack here gives some trouble even on Volcanic weeks. I get hit with Volcanic here. This corridor right here is really tight, so just gently kite back and kill them as quickly as you can. It is Fortified. You should still have some Prideful for it. Across here, you'll get your bursting here. After you kill these guys, you will get a Prideful for Gore Chop. I encourage lusting on this boss. So with Prideful and Fortified, this boss will go down real quick. Then you go back to Cull. Up here, skip these, just walk past them. I put a Ring of Peace just to be safe, but you can walk past them. When you get to here, I go right. Then over here, I go left. Don't get knocked off. Here. Then when you get to here, you're going to kill them at the same time. Doesn't matter if you kill them at the same time or stagger them 1, 2, 3, unless you pull a ghost. If you pull an extra ghost over here, you're going to get a Prideful with one of them up. If you don't, you're going to get 61.99 after the last one dies, and you'll get your Prideful for the boss here. If Lust is up for this boss, depending how fast your DPS is, you'll be able to Lust here. Now, this way, the trash actually gets a lot harder. On Fortified, these guys hit really hard, depending on who you get. Brutalizer has a very hard tank buster. The other one's a little easier. Over here, the Colossal Smash is dodgeable, but if you don't get the one that's Colossal Smash, then it's just longer because it's Fortified. And then you're going to get a Prideful for this trash. This trash is very difficult in my opinion. And it has extra bursting, and it has archers shooting at random party members. So this is where I also pop Nizal. Then on this boss, I don't use Lust, and I don't have a Prideful. He's going to be long, but he's generally easy as long as you kill the banner. So then after you go up, you pull this trash pack, get the last Prideful, and do Mordretha. My record on Mordretha on a 15 was 63 seconds because we had Prideful and Lust. Able to just delete it real quick. But that's it for Mythic Pluses this week. I hope everyone has a great week this week for their Mythic Pluses. Get those timed runs. I believe it's going to be a push week this week. Fortified just takes a little bit longer on trash, but bosses get deleted. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, complaints, go ahead and leave a comment down below. All of my routes are available on the website that is down below in the description. I hope everyone has great runs. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.